Welcome to the MOA Public Affairs and Communication Professional Virtual Chapter Spotlight Interview Series. With this conversation, we are joined by Captain Tharea Kent, United States Navy, retired. She is the Strategic Growth Director for the Sea Cadets. Welcome.
Thank you so much. And thank you for this opportunity to talk about Sea Cadets.
Tharea, you are now retired from the United States Navy. Can you share with us a bit more about your career and start?
Thank you. Well, I spent 26 years in the Navy on active duty. The majority of it was as a public affairs professional. And so I retired in 2019 as the Deputy Chief of Information and Deputy Chinfo out of the Pentagon. But I also had experiences in IUSS, Integrated Undersea Surveillance Systems, and protocol. And so like they say, the Navy gives you a well-rounded experience. I lived on 3 islands, so I say that's my trivia claim to fame: Iceland, Guam, and Hawaii. So getting to see that's different sides of the world, and I would not trade a thing.
As the Strategic Growth Director for the Sea Cadets, tell us about your duties.
Okay, so my role as strategic growth director is to expand the number of units we have and look for places where we don't have units, where we're not serving the community in the ways that we could. And then also grow units that are already existing, but that maybe the unit membership may be small or the unit's not fully at capacity. So this is a new position for Sea Cadets, and it's really exciting to take a look at our national map, look at trends and see where we already have our units and think of, well, how do we reach cadets that may be in a more rural environment where their closest Sea Cadet unit is a 4-hour drive? That's not convenient for families, but we want them to have the experience. So those are some of the things that I'm tackling.
The mission of the Sea Cadets is, quote, the United States Navy Sea Cadet Corps is to build leaders of character by imbuing our cadets the highest ideals of honor, respect, commitment, and service, end quote. Can you further detail that mission?
Sure. Well, first, I would like to point out that honor, respect, commitment, and service are the core values of the Sea Cadets. And you'll recognize a lot of synergy or parallels between our core values and the core values of the maritime services. We are designed, the purpose of Sea Cadets as we live out our mission is we let cadets try different things, fail in a safe environment, get up and try again. Let them explore different career opportunities with a maritime focus. So our goal is to expose them to maritime career fields that they may not be aware of. And that is the Coast Guard, Navy, Marine Corps, and Merchant Marines. And it helps them make better, more informed decisions as they progress in their life. So when they're a Sea Cadets coming out of high school, they decide to join the military, they have a good idea of what they're getting into. If they decide to work in the trades, they have some experience with that. They may have earned a certification during our program, some Coast Guard certifications or certifications with the Merchant Mariners. So it's a great opportunity for them to get a head start instead of spending more that time wandering around, figuratively wandering around to figure out what they want to do.
What are the requirements to join the Sea Cadets?
So our Sea Cadets start with lead cadets, which they are finished fourth grade and age 10. And when they think of that as our middle school program, and when they're in high school, that is the Sea Cadet program, and you can remain a cadet until you graduate from high school or you're 18. So in order to be a cadet, you affiliate with a unit, the closest unit to you, most likely. You have to be a US citizen or a permanent legal resident. You have to adhere to our core values. So no drug use, no alcohol use, no criminal record, be unmarried, no children, and be willing for adventure. I mean, that's what we're looking for. It's cadets willing to try something new. So keeping an open mind as they get to exploring the different careers.
With that, there are some 325 Sea Cadet units across the United States and in Guam and Puerto Rico. Can you tell us a little bit more about the Sea Cadet unit system?
Sure. And Guam, Puerto Rico, and Saipan, like to make sure we add Saipan in there. So the Sea Cadets during the what would be considered the traditional school year, the cadets work with their unit. We call it drill. So for those who are familiar with the Navy Reserve System, it's a lot of the same terminology. They drill about 12 hours a month. So that may be in some units, that's 1 week, one night a week. Most units actually drill either every other Saturday or one Saturday, Sunday a month. And that's during the typical school year. So let's say September through June. But during the winter break and during the summer breaks, they have opportunities to go on what we call advanced training, AT. And AT for a Sea Cadet, it will start with their first advanced training, recruit or training, and think of it as a youth version of boot camp, where they're going to run through the paces. They're going to get physically fit. They're going to study a lot, learn more about the Navy, learn about leadership, learn about themselves, proper wear of the uniform, more about discipline and teamwork. Lots and lots of learning about teamwork. And that's a 9-day overnight experience, and they can take that in various locations across the nation. And then once a Sea Cadet has taken recruit training, then they're eligible to take trainings, any of our advanced trainings offered anywhere in the country. And the different subject matters for those range from culinary and photography and legal and master at arms and shipbuilding, maritime industrial trade, scuba, sailing. So basically, if there's a career field in the maritime services, Sea Cadets likes to expose the cadets to it.
Can you tell us more about the Sea Cadet Graduate Recruit Training and Orientation Boot Camp?
Sure. Okay. So there are two parts in the sense that for the younger ones, Navy League orientation, that is for the League cadets. And it's not required because it's an overnight 5-day course. And we don't require our younger cadets to do anything overnight. However, should they choose, then they're eligible to go to, once they have that basic intro course during the summer or during the winter, they can sign up for other advanced trainings that meet their age level. And then, as I mentioned, recruit training, that's the one for the high schoolers, and that is required. So in order to be a Sea Cadet, at some point you will have to do the recruit training course, that 9-day overnight course. And it's because Sea Cadets earn rank while they are in the program, because we model it after the military. And one of the requirements for ranking up is to go to recruit training.
What are among the initiatives in the Sea Cadet program today in 2025?
For more than 60 years, Sea Cadets has focused on making sure that we are providing our cadets with relevant skills. So what does that mean in 2025? Well, in 2025, that means making sure that our cadets are exposed to the maritime trades and welding, electrical work, fabrication, 3D printing, anything along that lines. So we actually have partnerships with General Dynamics Electric Boat for a training, an advanced training that Sea Cadets take with University of Rhode Island, University of Connecticut. We also have partnership with the Institute for Advanced Learning and Research in Danville, Virginia. All of that is designed around the maritime industrial arts. What else is relevant in 2025? Merchant mariners. As we know, we rise and fall on trade and whether or not we can get our supplies, because trade happens on water. So we need to make sure that our merchant mariner force is vibrant and that we are recruiting those for the force. Well, you can't recruit them if they don't know about it or if they don't know if it's something they're interested in. So through Sea Cadets, we have partnerships with Military Sea Lift Command and the institution MITAGS, Maritime Institute of Technology and Graduate Studies. That's right outside of Baltimore. And so our cadets spend time in the merchant mariner field and actually doing trainings. and earning certifications. So if they come out as Sea Cadets and they decide to go into the Merchant Marines, they may have already achieved some of their certifications.
Can you tell us more about the Sea Cadet Alumni Association?
That is one of our initiatives also. Thank you for bringing that up. We Sea Cadets have done amazing things once they've left the program, regardless of how long they've stayed in the program. And we want to be that connective tissue for them. So we are asking our alumni to go to seacadets.org and to sign up to join the Alumni Association. Now, this is for if you were a former cadet. This is the Alumni Association for former cadets. And we're arranging through our coordinator who is working with our alumni, we are arranging in-person and virtual events for alumni. We will also ask alumni their opinions on some things and just an opportunity for them to express what they learned through Sea Cadets and make sure that we are still sticking to what has let this program survive for more than 60 years.
Does one become a volunteer with Sea Cadets, Thorea?
That is one of my favorite questions because in order to start new units, which is dear to my heart, we need volunteers. Our cadets, our youth need role models. And so to be a volunteer, you must be a US citizen, permanent legal resident. You must pass our background check and then do some of our training, which we have a youth protection training that's online. We have other kind of Sea Cadets 101, I will call it, basic orientation for adult volunteers. And then there's just-in-time training for whatever role that volunteer is going to fill. The volunteers are really what makes this program work. I mean, our paid staff is very few, but we have more than 1,000, almost 2,000 volunteers, and they make the units work. They're the ones that our cadets see day in and day out. And the interesting thing is, although we are maritime focused, our volunteers do not have to have military experience. And so some think, oh, well, I must have been in the Navy or I must have had to have been a certain rate or certain specialty in the Navy. No, you just have to have that passion to see the next generation succeed and be willing to share your skills, because anything, I will say, it's great the ones that can teach the sailors, our cadets, how to sail. Those are great volunteers also. But another great volunteer is a volunteer that knows how to sew, because our cadets wear uniforms and it saves mommy and daddy a lot of money when someone can come in and teach the cadets how to sew on their rankers, how to sew on their rank, how to hem their pants, and all of those things that we as sailors remember very well.
Maria, let's get over to corporate America, private business. How does a company partner with the Sea Cadets?
Well, there are multiple ways to partner with Sea Cadets. As a company, there are three, I would put them in three buckets: helping with training, helping with volunteers, and then philanthropic. So with volunteers, I'll start in the middle. Companies encourage your personnel to volunteer, encourage them to give back to the community. And one way to do that is through the Sea Cadets. And our volunteers put in a lot in Sea Cadets. Think about it. They're not just the one weekend a month, but they are also the ones organizing the drills and the events, the extra events for our cadets. So any assistance that a company can give our volunteers to help reduce the load, help bear that load is helpful also. When it comes to training, I mentioned earlier how we have partnerships with General Dynamics Electric Boat and University of Rhode Island, University of Connecticut, MyTags, Institute in Danville, Virginia. Those trainings are made available, they're relevant, they're high quality because of companies saying, we have a skill and we want to share that with the youth. So if you are do engine repair and that is your company's business, and you're able to have cadets come in and learn from your personnel how to repair engines and how to do maintenance on them, vehicle repair. If you're a chef, how to do culinary arts and what's the difference between how to help between culinary arts and just cooking, and what helping them with their certifications. All of those things that companies can provide and assist with are valuable. And so they can do that by just reaching out at info@ccadets.org. If companies reach out at info@ccadets.org and tell us what you have available, and let's see how we can partner. And then the third one is philanthropic, and that's the helping provide resources. As I mentioned, with some of our cadets may have to drive 4 hours to a unit or 5 hours to a unit, or some families, participating in Sea Cadets is can be a cause of financial hardship, but they want their child to have this experience, this what could be a life-changing experience for their child to explore the different career fields and learn about themselves and do discipline. So philanthropic help, whether it's if you have a building or a campsite or something that could be used for Sea Cadets to conduct training or conduct drills, that's one way, in-kind donation, or other donations are philanthropic avenues. That's really not my area of expertise, but if you contact development@ccadets.org, there are many ways that our development director can get a company involved.
What is the difference between Navy League Cadet Corps and Navy Sea Cadet Corps?
Okay, so think of it as it's one program with two parts. So Sea Cadets is overarching. However, we specifically call our younger, I think, middle school. So once they're in fifth grade up, they are the league cadets. And their uniforms are a little different. And then the Sea Cadets are those who are in high school. So the terminology league cadets, and then it just means that they're the younger version of the Sea Cadets, but it's all in the same program. And in fact, many of our units, the league cadets and the Sea Cadets, drill together. Some units are large enough where they're able to separate.
So it's not mutually exclusive.
Correct.
Okay. What's the best way, with all this noted, to connect with the Sea Cadets to include contact information?
The best way is to visit our website at ccadets.org. And on that website, you'll find information about volunteering, information about joining if you have a child or a grandchild that you would like to expose to Sea Cadets, and information about how to be a philanthropic part of Sea Cadets. So ccadets.org. We also are available on Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn and Instagram. And on Instagram, I think it's phenomenal because you'll actually see more of our cadets in action as they do Instagram, YouTube shorts. I think that I find those very entertaining. So on YouTube, you can see the cadets discuss what's the best way to shine shoes, or which bunk is best. Is it the top bunk or the lower bunk or the middle rack?
So this is real-time reporting.
It's from the basic trainings that they go to, and they come up with different ideas, and we put those out.
In closing, the floor is yours. Anything else you would like to spotlight about the Sea Cadets?
I would really like to highlight our volunteers. I mean, as I mentioned, it takes an army of volunteers to work with Sea Cadets. I'm sorry, I didn't come up with a Navy term for that. But our volunteers give so much to the program. And we say, oh, well, it's 12 hours. Our units drill 12 hours a month. But our volunteers, they really are devoted to the cadets, and they care about the cadets and how they are doing with their schoolwork, how they are doing with maturing in life, how they're doing with career exploration. They want to see what happens as a cadet comes back from training and it's the first time they've been sailing, and to see that light in their eye. That's the payment that our volunteers get, and the letters that they get back from someone years after they've been in the program. It really, that's what our volunteers get out of the program. But what our cadets get out of the program is knowing how much someone really cared for them and invested in them.
Captain Thorea Kent, United States Navy retired Strategic Growth Director for the Sea Cadets. Thank you for joining us on the MOA Public Affairs and Communication Professional Virtual Chapter Spotlight Interview Series.
All right. Thank you so much, Link.